18 of our Exploring the Seaverse series in TW 2020. We are on to Australia for the first time in the series as we head to Raw. And no, don't get this confused with our WWE series, of course, but yes, all jokes aside, we are on to Revolution Australian Wrestling, and revolutionary concept indeed, and we'll get to that here in a second with this promotion. But if you haven't already, go back through, check out all the videos we've done on the other Seaverse companies to this point. As we said, this is episode 18, so 17 other companies to check out. If you haven't done so already, we will get to all of them in the starting universe of the Seaverse, so more to come as well, so hit that subscribe button. That way you get to check all of those out on future episodes. So let's talk about Raw, because it is Revolution Australian Wrestling. It is a company ranked 11th in the world with a lot of money to work with, $2.7 million at their disposal. So money not an issue, size not an issue, and you see momentum. We got 71, 68 on Prestige. A lot of things going for Raw. You're asking what's the catch? We'll get to it in a minute. So, as we said, size-wise, a medium promotion. Hit that 65 point overall in the home region of Western Australia. Now to get to big, you got to get to 77 in all 5 of the mainland, regions in Australia. So that is going to be what you have to look at here to kind of, really be able to move forward. But again, you're not that far away when you really look at it and kind of where you are on the numbers. I mean, New Zealand's the only one that's 64 right now. But like we said, it's really just achieving the 77 popularity in the 5 mainland Australian regions. So that is going to be important. But it is doable to get to big with this company. So a manageable path, perhaps, if you're looking for getting to that. All right, let's talk about the company itself. This is where the catch maybe starts to come in. If you're wondering why this company seems to have it all. Well, it's because it's a little bit different. And if you've played this game for a while, you kind of know what the background is of Raw. If you don't, well, this is a promotion that was created solely for the television world. Meaning, which we'll get to in a second, we'll talk about the product and the event schedule because you'll really see it play out then. But this is all about something that's created for TV. And, you kind of read the background here and the bio and everything. All kinds of money, at the disposal. We said $2.7 million. And really, this is not something that, old school wrestling fans are going to love because it's not really about in-ring action. It's about everything outside the ring, even though in-ring action, you have to have it. But this is really a company that is more soap opera based set in a wrestling setting. So that's what this is all about. And I think the best way to illustrate that is to really start to look at everything else within the company here. So that starts with the product. Wrestling soap opera is the product, and it is pretty straightforward, right? This is all about sort of, again, the soap opera, dramatic type of elements, all about drama, whether it's with the rivalries. You have wild, over-the-top angles. That's really what this is all about. But you don't have to really worry about match quality all that much. You can see how matches are rated here. And you can also see that TV shows, 50% matches, 50% angles. Look, for me, that's not all that different than what I do with the WWE save. If you'll see, most of the time, I'm hitting that probably 50 to 54% split on matches and angles in my WWE save. But, again, that's not for everybody. And so it's a lot of, this is a split, right? Like you're doing half and half on matches and angles. And you can also tell here, basically if you get a match over 5 minutes, you can achieve a world-class score. We don't get that anywhere else because, you're not looking for lengthy matches here. Fans are going to get bored. They want the drama. They want all the other stuff that goes along with wrestling. They don't necessarily want the wrestling, but that's the product that's been built by Raw. Some other stuff here of note, the angle focus is highlights. So if you look that up, you can obviously see highlights is kind of where you average the 3 highest ratings, 3 highest rated angles together. And it's like if you have less than 3, well, you're not going to have less than 3. Trust me, with this company, you're going to have a lot more than 3 if you're running your angles. So that's going to be the calculated, sort of angle focus on this. So it is worth noting on that. You have a strict face-heel divide because it is about the drama. It's about rivalries, all that stuff. So you have all of that. Certainly not a very intensive style, to say the least, because you're not really doing anything other than using the matches to, further the soap opera, if you will, of what this company is. So you're not really worried about that. In all honesty, I mean, this is really about just looking at different stuff. You certainly understand you got to have a lot of storylines. You got to have a storytelling aim for each one. You're just keeping it pretty simple when it comes to the ring. And I know there's a note here somewhere where, basically, as I said earlier, fans expect matches to be, but really, I mean, basic matches. Like, you don't want anything complicated. That's what this is about with the starting product. Like I always say, you can change it if you want, but this is one where it's much different than a lot of other ones. I mean, think about it, right? If you watch the other stuff in this save, we talk about some of these Japanese promotions where wrestling is sort of everything. This is kind of the opposite, where it's all about the soap opera and everything on that. So, yeah, I mean, you're looking for stars that have charisma, mic skills, like menace, all this other stuff. Like, you're looking for a lot of good ratings that don't have anything to do with wrestling. And you can still achieve a pretty high score with Raw. As we said, if you're looking for the unique spin as well on something, here it is. There are no events. It is a promotion made for TV, quite literally. There is a TV show every single Friday that runs for 2 hours. That is it on the shows. If you want, we do have a dormant monthly event here with the Stars of Raw. You could run that if you wanted to. Again, that's totally up to you. But I almost kind of find it intriguing to think about just running a company that only has one TV show every single week and is not really, 2 weekly TV shows and an event, 1 weekly TV show and event, or just an event. It's just a TV show. So, I think how I would spin this if I played as Raw here, it makes for an interesting challenge, because what you theoretically could do is you could make, sports sort of themed episodes of your TV show. So, maybe on, week 4 in February, it's a special theme show of some sort. Like, it's kind of like an event, but it's still a TV show. But like we said, it's a made-for-TV promotion. So you don't have any of the events. You could always bring back the Stars of Raw if you wanted to. Probably wouldn't be, the worst idea to do that, just in terms of growing maybe a little bit quicker. But this is the setup here. And as I said, it's something very unique compared to the other ones that we've looked at on that. So you can definitely look at some interesting stuff with the event schedule, decide what you want to do there. And, you certainly have the muscle probably even to bring in another TV show if you wanted, just given the overall size, because as we said, I mean, you have enough reach to where you could probably get a second TV show if you wanted. But, as we said, it's a TV company essentially. So, all right, the titles, you've got a normal set of titles, but you can't be confused by the fact that the television championship is the biggest championship. Because again, television, like, if you want a one-word description of Raw, it's television. Everything is about television. But the TV championship here is your biggest title, 76 prestige. So it's really all, as we said, about overness, like popularity. Not your best wrestler. Who are the guys that, are over? And, we'll get to one of those guys here in a second, who is pretty much the foundation of the program, the company. You got the Quest Championship, mid-card. Not a whole lot to it, really, it seems. Tag team division is pretty strong, so that's something else you can look at. We'll talk about the tag teams here in a second, but you've got a strong tag team division. So a normal set of titles, if we go down the line here with the tag teams, I mean, look how many teams have a 100 experience. I've counted 6 so far of this tag team group. So a very good tag team division. That's something else that could be, intriguing for you possibly if you find kind of some fun in that. You got 2 starting stables, although they're not major players. We've got this one here, and then we've got the 3 Amigos, who are an alliance. So, yeah, a couple starting stables. Can always add to those, and it doesn't hurt to have stables when you're doing the soap opera element. You got to have some alliances and connections there. So, all right, let's look at some other stuff before we start looking at the roster. Backstage, 100. Everyone's happy. Everyone just, they're doing great there. no child companies, no developmental, no training facilities. So you don't have to worry about any of those. Obviously you're not part of an alliance. Relationships, you've got two, and they're both hostile. Australia Pro Wrestling, hostile attitude there. You've also got war declared with Deep Impact Wrestling. So these two companies, these companies don't love each other. And why? Because as we said, it goes back to the bio where real wrestling fans sort of look down on Raw because of the lack of in-ring elements. So more storyline based. But yeah, that's kind of why you don't have a lot of relationships there for Raw. All right, as we said, good tag teams. You got storylines. You got hot storylines here. You really just need 3 to meet 50 or more. Really good start. Pretty much everything is meeting 50, and you've got 6 of them here. So great starting storylines. You can kind of lean into those right off the bat and run with some of those if you want. Now, let's start with the roster, and it starts with one man and one man only. Swoop McCarthy, a C-verse legend, the way I see it. So we haven't really gone into figurehead all that much because most of the companies we looked at haven't had a figurehead, but this is a company that has a figurehead for a good reason. So Swoop is pretty much, he's bringing attendance up 14% and selling 50% more merch whenever he's on the show. So priority number 1, Swoop's going to be on every show, and he better be in multiple angles because he is the top star, without question, the biggest star in the history of Australian wrestling. You can see all the stats here. Look at his popularity. This guy, yeah, he's something. These skills speak for themselves. As I said earlier, this roster is all about needing guys with charisma, mic work, star quality, sex appeal helps. He's got it all, but he's also got the basics down in the ring. He is a superstar to the highest degree. Yeah, Swoop is the guy. He is the guy without question. So the figurehead, and I don't know that you're going to be changing that at any point soon unless Swoop decides to go elsewhere, which I don't think is going to happen. That's that. For this. All right, let's dive a little bit more to the rosters. You see here, it's not just about Swoop, though. You've got some other people that, what's the one thing all of these guys have in common? It's star quality. Like, they've got the star quality. They got popularity. Again, look at, Robbins here, 92 star quality, sex appeal 89. By the way, this is a company I think definitely, if you're going to start with Raw, one thing I would definitely do is kind of go through the bios. And I say that for all of them because I do think it can make it more, kind of engaging to play a save like that. But this one specifically, because I think if you're going this route, knowing that it's more about kind of the background and the characters and the rivalries and all that stuff, you need a little, background in the bio to be able to run with that. And so I would definitely read through these because these are really important. You can take some notes on those. That's what I usually do. Just a couple little quick notes on something. What is Robbins known for? You can lean into that if you do a company like this. So again, these are kind of the areas where you're looking for those high numbers. And there are so many guys that have them. Robbins here, as we talk about. You've got Maurice Jackson. Someone else, charisma, mic work, star quality, sex appeal. Like, those are 4 big ones in this company. Blake Belushi, he gets my vote because of the name. Again, look at this is what we're looking at right here. Like, these are made for TV stars. Luke Steele, star quality, 90, Menace, 94. Like, we can work with all of that when it comes to angles and everything. You've got a good group of kind of rising stars. 21 here, 21 years old, 94 star quality, 90 on the sex appeal, 21 years old. So someone else that, you can build with him in this promotion, even if it's not on necessarily the wrestling part of it. JT Ace here, 90 star quality. Like, I don't even have to filter the roster by star quality like I usually do because you can see right here, there are 7 right there with pretty much 80 or higher star quality. But that's kind of what it's all about, right? And you can go through kind of some of these other people. There's just so much of it. As we said, there's so much sort of entertainment skills, whether it's charisma, microphone acting, all the other stuff. Like, there's so much of it on this roster. And so that's what you have to have, though. You can have no shortage of it because that's what the company's based around. So, we'll pull up the roster. But like I said, it's not really, you've seen kind of where things stand on it. We could do star quality. We can go up to 80 for this, in all honesty. There's a lot just in the 80 range here of people who, that have all these skills, and you can see the popularity because it's a bigger company. I mean, look at how many guys are at the 90 range. Like, I mean, you guys are watching me go through this. Like, how many guys have 90 or more star quality? Like, or 85? I mean, this is just a ridiculous number. So you can create stars. I mean, these are TV superstars is what you're kind of creating here out of this group. And so, yeah, I mean, I could filter this by any other skill you wanted, but pretty much everyone, as I said, at least has a good range of charisma, all that stuff. And so that's what you're leaning into when you're booking angles, because your angles are essentially everything, as we said. Popularity, angle stuff, like that's really what it's all about. So, yeah, Raw is definitely a different promotion, but if you're looking for something that you want to kind of, not necessarily, if you like the soap opera, storyline element, maybe more so than the in-ring stuff, and you're looking to build your own storylines with a very talented group that is clearly, on the biggest company in Australia and have a lot of money to work with, may want to go out and bring some other people in, maybe expand beyond Australia. I don't know how you would do that necessarily, but it's certainly, with a company like this, you can certainly achieve it, I think, at some point. Yeah, there's a lot of intriguing elements, but it's only if, you take into account you're going to be booking as many angles as you are matches. And that's not necessarily for everyone. I can be okay with it because that's how I've done the WWE save. But yeah, it's certainly different than some of the others we've looked at that are more wrestling focused. So there you go. There's some thoughts on Raw and Swoop McCarthy. He could be one of your all-time favorites should you choose to play with Raw in this game. I think that's one, honestly, if I started to save, that would be one of the main motivations for me is how am I going to make Swoop like one of the biggest legends in the history of the world? Like what could I do with him storyline wise every single week to really keep the game going and keep my entertainment in it? So that'd be something else that I'd have some fun with. But again, there's some thoughts on Raw. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I said, go back through, check out all the others we've already done here in the Exploring the Cverse series. Lots more on the way as we will continue to look at all these others. Also, check out all the other stuff we have on the channel. As I've said before, we've got WWE, AEW, WCW. The latter two are kind of on a hiatus still, but we do have a lot of WWE ones that we're getting back on track with on the road to WrestleMania there. So hit that subscribe button. Be sure to check out everything else on the channel. I appreciate you guys as always. And on the next episode of our Exploring the Cverse, we're going to stay in Australia as we're going to go to APW.